So my name's Ali and I'm currently a university chaplain. Until recently I was working in theological education, so I was training people for ministry, both ordained and lay. And before that I worked as a parish priest and also spent a year as a children's minister. So during that time I've done a lot of all-age worship, a lot of all-age preaching, and started to teach about those things as well. What I found was there was not a lot of resourcing out there for thinking through all-age preaching and all-age worship. So I started to develop my own resources, and everything sort of flowed from there really. And in my own preaching, all-age became something that I was no longer terrified of, but that I really enjoyed. So I called the book Preaching with All Ages because of that desire to capture the full participatory nature of all-age preaching. All-age preaching, or intergenerational preaching, is where you open up scripture in the context of worship with everybody in together, so all ages, all stages of faith. And the idea of it is to enable all people in a diverse community to encounter God together. So it's not the same as preaching for children, which is a very different thing and also a very worthwhile thing to do. So the wonderful Mary Hawes often says that if your all-age talk doesn't work without the children, it wasn't an all-age talk, it was a children's talk. And that's something which I've tried to drill into myself and I've always included in my teaching as well. So it's challenging because you're trying to bring together really diverse experiences of what it's like being a person, being a disciple, being a person of God, and bring all those to bear and open up scripture together. This is partly why people find it a little bit scary. I firmly believe that theology is best done in a group rather than on your own. So when we get those diverse experiences of people who are 4 and people who are 80 and people who are new to faith and people who've been coming to church all their lives, when you put all of that together in a mix and loads more diversity besides, you get perspectives on the gospel, on what God might be saying that you would never have if you were just sitting on your own, or if it was just one person speaking out of their own head. So you learn huge amounts from one another. I think that's the primary benefit. I think one of the key differences that people find between all-age preaching and, say, normal preaching is that level of interactivity. If you're going to be truly participatory and truly interactive, not just kind of getting people to hold something up or answer a closed question, it's a massive risk because people could contribute anything. And you've got to be able and willing to deal with whatever they contribute, to find something of value in it, to affirm it and to work with it and to let it make a genuine contribution to what's going on and to the way that we're all encountering God. That's terrifying because it means you lose control as the preacher. And it's hard enough and scary enough preaching anyway. But when you factor in the fact that you don't know how it's going to end, you don't know how it's going to go, it's doubly terrifying. If you're willing to relinquish some of your power as the preacher by giving it to the congregation, what you get back is way more than you gave away. But none of that is easy. And it takes practice and it takes confidence and it takes a willingness to learn from when it goes wrong and to work out from when it goes wrong. Well, what did I learn about myself? What did I learn about God? What did I learn about these people and their needs and their concerns? And how can I put that into my next all-age talk? So what I've tried to do in the book is, it's like the old saying, if you give somebody a fish, you'll feed them for a day. But if you teach them to fish, you'll feed them for a lifetime. So what I've tried to do in the book is to teach people to fish, which is a good biblical analogy. So there's a lot of books out there already which are brilliant that give you off-the-peg talks that you can try and do in your own context. This isn't one of those books. It's really trying to encourage you to see how I've learnt stuff from my own practice and experience and what lessons I've drawn out that I didn't expect to learn, so that you can then do that same process of reflective practice on your own preaching. So it's very, very much about, hopefully, teaching people to fish rather than just giving them 12 fish. And hopefully by me sharing something of how I've done it, you can put that into your own context and situation.